Hey, it's Jordan. I'm live here in Flint. It is a cloudy Thursday, and we're right next to what is like I've never seen a line longer. You only see these kinds of lines on like when there's a hurricane coming and people are trying to get gas or something like that, where there's gas shortage and the lines to the gas station are long. We were driving up and we started seeing the lines to this church here. A lot of the churches in Flint are distribution centers for free bottled water since the state government shut down the water pods. So here, one gentleman told me that he was waiting online since right before 8 in the morning Eastern time. It's now a little after 11 Eastern time. So people are waiting online for 3 hours just to get bottled water. Let's walk up so you can see the front of it. This wasn't the first place we went to. We just tried to go to a place before this, but the sign said no water today. So the cars wait like for blocks and blocks and blocks, and then come up where you could see behind this gate, there's just stacks and stacks of bottled water. They're coming to get bottled water because clearly they don't feel that they could drink the city water, which I've been doing a lot of reporting on here. Let's see here. Sir, how long have you been waiting online this morning?
2 hours before they even started moving the line.
2 hours before they even moved the line.
Yeah,
So you're
they
probably,
didn't start moving the line till about 10:40 where I was at.
so you're probably talking like 3, 4 hours total.
Yeah, yeah, I was here at 8 o'clock this morning.
And have you been having to come to the churches like this for a while since they shut down the water pods?
Oh, yeah. No choice. I got two neighbors that don't drive, so I got to come all the time to keep them supplied too.
That's very nice of you. And what are your thoughts when the government is saying the water is now fine and you don't need bottled water?
I have no clue. I wouldn't drink it anyway.
Thanks.
What was that?
Okay. So at centers like this, it's not just bottled water. They have like lead testing kits and other things, food, things like that. But as you can see back here, there's got to be hundreds and hundreds of cases of bottled water. And the interesting thing is, you would think that, the crisis is over, right? The governor, the state has said, well, the water is meeting EPA regulations. Then why are all these people so desperate to get bottled water? Would you think if the water was safe, they'd be able to drink it? Hey, sir, how long did you have to wait in line today? How long did you have to wait in line?
It wasn't very long. They started about 10:30. It's supposed to start at 10, and they started about 10:30.
Okay.
How you gentlemen doing? Channel 5?
No, channel me, my own network.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Hey, that's great, man.
Let me ask you, do you buy what the state's selling as far as the water's safe and, there's no need for bottled water anymore?
It's a need for bottled water. They can't clean this up. I work for General Motors. He worked for General Motors. We both old timers. We retired with about 40 years. He retired with about 60 years. He got the oldest seniority here in this town. And I'm telling you something. We know about how they contaminated the water. Not only General Motors, Dow and the other companies, the paint companies that we bought the paint for the cars, all those destroyed the water. And see, I got so many grandchildren, he does too, and children around here. It's pathetic. And I'd like to see the whole nation healthy. They might have to do this in a lot of other towns, just like the Erin Brockovich. You know about her. Yeah, and she's been here. And she's like, when she left here, she left some messages that is not yet fixed. God bless you guys putting the news out there and giving me a chance to speak for our brothers and sisters. You might be a different skin color, but we all got something to do with the ecological system. Yeah, God
I
bless.
agree.
You
Uh,
go, cameraman. All right now. Yeah, you hold the town hall meetings where they held up jugs of water that had brown residue in it. And it starts on that side of Carpenter Road. And they call that beacher water, well water. That water is horrible. It tastes horrible. Yeah. And it leaves a residue in your bathtub. a rusty color for residents.
And also, they're also adding all this stuff into the water that's also causing some
Right,
problems.
right. Chlorine and stuff isn't good for our body. And the vegetables that we get now, most of the vegetables, Kellogg's and all the other big companies, they're making quick grow. I see gardens around here in town, and the corn is 7 foot, 8 foot tall. Man, that's too quick. And that's just in a matter of just a couple of weeks. You know, that's too quick. And it's not good for my body. I'm going to dialysis 3 days a week. See that bandage on my arm? And that doesn't feel good to run needles in me 3 days. I can't leave the leads hanging out of me because I might damage it.
When did the dialysis and those problems start?
They started about 2014, the last of 14.
Oh, right after the water switch.
Right, right. Yep, yep. So, you know, this little motor here, if somebody busts that, it vibrates.
Yep.
Somebody busts that, man, that's going to hurt me, you know. But I'll fight now. I will fight. I grew up around a lot of boxers here. Benny McComb, you know, and he's a legendary boxer. He's on the Hall of Fame. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby Jane Parker. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they 1962 heavy. Mayweather, they know Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather Sr., Benny McComb. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was out there with Mayweather, but I couldn't get James Parker to go to any of the fights. He could have got in free. He was 1962 heavyweight champion of the United States Marine Corps.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. So I know he Lane. Hey, hi, Lane. Hey, Cheryl, Dennis McComb, all you guys. God bless you. And
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
still here.
I appreciate it.
All right. God bless
Thanks.
us all, man.
Yeah.
All right now. See you later.
So like, just get a shot. This is just like the front. The line goes
It goes about
all around the block, like for
it's about once you get to the street, it's about at least a quarter to a half a mile full of like long line, like a line of cars. It's about a half mile line of cars.
Are we live? Is it going up?
Once you get to the street, we're live.
Okay. So let's ask hello, ma'am. How you guys doing? What do you guys do here at the Montier Center?
Everything.
Everything?
Whatever we see needs to be done, we do it.
I love that hat.
Thank you. Thank
So, is this like your average day when you guys are open? You have cars lined around the block?
you. Yeah, that's it.
It looks like you have cars for about like a mile and a half.
In other words, we'll be here to what, about 2? We supposed to close at 2, but we be here about 4 because we have to clean up behind 2. So, but to about 4:30.
What's the general feeling? Because most of the residents I speak to in Flint don't buy this business that the water is now safe and there's no need for water pods.
We need the water. We need people bringing us water in because the water is no good. The water is still no good.
And is that because the government keeps saying, well, yeah, we understand, trust takes a while, but the water's meeting EPA regulations, they say. But majority of residents say it's still coming out of my tap smelling or looks discolored, or those that have tasted it say it tastes awful.
Those are the people I think maybe their pipes are rusty. You know, because I don't have any problems with my water. I had it checked twice. No lead in it. And I think it'd be the old pipes. And anybody who complain, they need to complain. Take it down to the mayor's office and complain about their pipes. And they should go out and check their pipes because they probably all rusted out. Because I know everybody in Flint don't need no new pipes.
Who came to test your water?
The water people. You know, when they first
Mm-hmm.
started, they came and they tested it. And I had to send it to Lansing.
Oh, they gave you the sample bottles to test yourself and all that? Yeah.
Twice. I had like 5% copper. But now I wash, cook and everything. I ain't dead yet. It's been like like 3 years. So some people probably had that problem and some people don't. But we want to still have it there for the people that don't have it. You know, that they water all messed up because it's not fair.
That's what all I said. The water should be safe for us to drink and bathe in.
Yeah, because I went to one home and this couple moved in May, and the 1-year-old baby has white blisters all over her leg and arm from bathing.
The water.
Right.
That's what I said. It's probably in their pipes. They need to go and check her pipes, her plumbing, and see if her plumbing ain't no good. Clean it up.
But the problem I'm having is they telling us the water is good, but yet and still they coming out to your house putting those filters in. So if the water is good, why is they study putting filters in? Something got to be wrong with the water. And that's what they doing at my house. They rush out to my house and put filters in every time I call them. So I
Did
don't.
anyone ever come to test your water at your house?
Yeah, they said I don't have lead, but I broke out. I got pictures of where I broke out and where I had to go to the hospital several times about it.
And did they just give you the samples to test yourself, or they came in and tested it?
They came in and tested.
Oh, really? Like the State Department, or?
I don't know who they was. And then I took some downtown to the downtown. I took some down there. So
Started, they had us fill these little bottles out like in the first water in the morning, and that's what I did. They did it twice, no problems.
Did you take did you take, when you turned the water on, did you take it right away, or you let the water run first?
Let it run a little bit, and then you test it like that. Or was it the first part? It seemed like it might have been the first running of it. I'm not sure, but I did it. I think it was when you turn it on. I think that's the water we had to use. I'm not sure because it's been like almost 4 years ago. I don't think good like I used to. But I think that's what it was, the first water of the morning, like in the morning.
Because actually, when you're testing the water, you're supposed to take it right away.
I know that's had to be what I did because I did it twice. And both times was negative, no messed up water. I don't use a filter. Keep coming off.
Thank
I
you.
ain't trying to mess up for nobody, and because my water is good. But I'm saying the people that's really messed up, they need to go and let the mayor know that my water pipes aren't any good. They may not have to do everybody's. They may just do the people's that's really, really bad off. And if they breaking out, get their water pipes did too. But I don't think every.
Unfortunately, the state's trying to pay for as little as possible. So
We know that. But y'all got to pay for us. They got to pay for us.
thank you, guys.
Okay then.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
So let's see what else is going on. So you got, let's show them how much we got here. And I'm pretty sure most of this water that's coming into churches is like donations from out of town. So literally, just people doing kind deeds is doing more than the government of Michigan right now. But you got, I think Ice Mountain is Nestle, so not so happy about that. But got to take what you can get.
They got Kroger also.
Okay, so this is Stacks and Stacks. How you doing? Let's talk to some other people. But like, this is what you would expect to see at the beginning of like an outbreak or a crisis, not 4.5 years later that people are still coming for bottled water. And Jen and I were just here working on a story. There's also pretty overwhelming evidence that a lot of the actual testing that was done here in Flint, the way that the state of Michigan tested, was improper. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but we found quite a lot of homes that were tested the wrong way, breaking EPA regulations. We're working on that story. It's a very, very complicated, in-depth story. It requires a lot of documentation and extra research. But the bottom line is, the government here has shut down the water pods on the narrative that we're meeting EPA regulations. The lead level citywide in Flint is well under the EPA's 15 parts per billion. And for my reporting, and that included knocking on at least 400 doors. Jan, it was probably more than 400 doors. We just kind of lost count. So the reason this is important, why I always say this, like, yeah, I'm in Flint at the moment. We're going to Chicago next to cover some things there. But this is just the beginning. I mean, there's water problems in many other cities. So if you take the cameras and the attention off of Flint, which it has been, if I tell you how how many corporate media editors I have reached out to with my findings, which, by the way, what I just told you that I found, which was basically cheating that went on the water testing here in Flint. So this was the water testing that the state of Michigan did after it came out that there was astronomical lead levels here to then declare Flint's water had moved back below 15 parts per billion. I, I have the EPA on the record confirming, I have the EPA on the record confirming that the state of Michigan broke its regulations for water testing. I have Flint Mayor Karen Weaver is on the record for this story that will be coming out. I have Aaron Brockovich, many others. But the point is, we did some door knocking, like political canvassing. We did some political canvassing, knocking on doors, and we found quite a lot of stuff that happened as far as lead testing that was illegal and improper. But right now, we're having trouble just getting corporate media to respond to us because if it's not Trump, if it's not Russia, if it's not a Playboy model, if it's not a paid-off porn star, they don't give a damn. Well, I think this is important because look at this. I mean, not only is Flint extremely, extremely impoverished, but why should people in their daily lives every week have to line up for hours? One person started right before 8 o'clock, and they're just getting to the front of the line at 11. Why should people have to do that in America? They shouldn't have to do it anywhere, but much less in America. And, luckily there are people sending in these donations. This is just one center.
I think a thing makes to make sure that's clarified. Like, this is not the government. The government has closed the water ponds. This water is coming from donations from outside the city, and I guess maybe within the state. But the government of Michigan has shut down the water, and now you got all these people in here trying to get water. Obviously, that lets you know that they don't trust that the water is fine.
But I also want to make something clear because every corporate media story that talks about Flint now, they talk about it. They just regurgitate what the EPA, not really the EPA. They just regurgitate what the state of Michigan Environmental Agency has reported, and they just regurgitate that. Oh yeah, Flint's water is now below 15 parts per billion of lead, which is the EPA level, and everything's dandy now. And they talk about it as it's not actually a water problem anymore, like the water is drinkable, it's a trust problem. The residents don't trust the government. I'm here to tell you, because this is my 12th time here, seriously, I need to get like a little cottage. Well, they don't really have those here. I get a little like hut, one of those abandoned homes. But I could tell you, this is not just a trust issue, this is a water quality issue. I've gone door to door. You can smell the water at a lot of these homes. It smells disgusting. I have tasted the water at least one of these homes. It tasted disgusting. You could see the water when it comes out at some of these homes. It's discolored. And also, just common sense, a lot of this water isn't moving in the pipes because a lot of the residents are not drinking the water from the taps. So when water is stagnant and not flowing, that screws up its quality. So it's not just lead that could be a problem there, but you have other things. You have bacteria concerns. PBS just came out with a great investigative piece the other day, basically reporting that no. The official count that the state of Michigan gave, that 12 people died of Legionella in Flint, no. Their research, their reporting shows it could be upwards to 120. 120 people might have died of Legionella here. Meanwhile, you have court cases going on here yesterday. The Director of Health and Human Services, Nick Lyon, it was supposed to be his final pretrial day. They're saying, oh, he's the Director of Health and Human Services, but he didn't know. He's not a health expert. And oh, he's the head of Health and Human Services, but even if he would have warned the residents of Legionella earlier, it wouldn't have done anything. So this is what's happening. And meanwhile, the living people who have to deal with this are waiting online for clean water. So let's talk to one or two more people and see what's happening. Toot, toot, toot. Hi, ma'am. How long you been waiting out here this morning?
10, no, 8:30.
8:30. Wow. And what do you think in terms of? I mean, you always see lines like this during like hurricanes to get gas or something like It seems to me like how are they saying the water is safe if all of these people are sitting here online?
Right. It's not safe because if it was, we wouldn't have to come to these water distributions. We wouldn't have to, some are still having reaction to the water, things like that. If it was safe, then we wouldn't have to, we'd be able to drink the water.
And it's really interesting to me. Oh, I don't want you to get lost. It's interesting to me because you know the governor is talking about these EPA limits that you guys are now meeting EPA regulations and this and that, but half the city hasn't had its pipes changed.
No, mine haven't been changed yet. We got letters in the mail, but nothing has been done. That's been 4 months ago. Nothing's been done.
And I'm sure it's not easy as far as like if you have a job or other responsibilities to be sitting up.
For little kids, I mean, come on now, they need the water.
No, you're good. 4 little kids. So you got 4 kids. I know that.
I take care of my senior citizen mother. She's come up here from Kentucky, and then she's coming from Kentucky dealing with this. But she had a stroke, so I have no other choice but to help her out. But then dealing with this water issue and trying to help maintain her is a little hard. So
Go get your water. Thank you. So that's kind of the point you always hear from residents. A, why, if the water is safe, do we need to use filters? And why, if the water is safe, are all these people lining up for water? And a big part of the problem is you really have, I don't know whether it's, whether you don't, there's no other way to say it. There's no nice way to say it. The media here is god awful. I mean, Jen could tell you because she experienced it yesterday. They don't report anything. They just regurgitate whatever the state tells them. And if you have media that just regurgitates whatever the state tells them, are they really doing journalism? Because journalism is supposed to hold the government accountable, to challenge the government, not simply just regurgitate whatever the state tells them. And I could tell you, because I've looked into it very, very closely, the water testing in Flint, it's been very, very selective as far as where they chose to test. They chose to test in sections of Flint that are the least likely to be at risk for lead leaching out into the pipes. Places with copper service lines, not lead service lines. Places that had newer plumbing attached to the homes. We spoke with one man, his name was Frederick. He has a house in Ward 5 in Flint. Ward 5, generally speaking, has some nice homes. It also has some pockets that are, I mean, what would you call those pockets? Pretty empty ghettos. But he got his pipes all redone in the early 90s, switched to copper. And that was on file with the city of Flint. So all his pipes were copper and fairly new from the 1990s. And what do you know? The state of Michigan, like an army, showed up at his house and like, we want to test your home. We want to have your home on the state Sentinel program. Well, no wonder you wanted his home on the state testing program because his home had new pipes and was not that at risk for heavy lead. So you're cherry picking the data. And I could post article after article after article where other cities have gotten in trouble in the United States with cherry picking data, selectively testing. We also found homes here, we knocked on doors, where a resident would explain that the state of Michigan came to test their water. They ran the water before taking the sample. That's called flushing. So it's basically flushing out the lead. When you let the water run before taking a sample, you're giving it time for lead, copper, and other heavy metals to flush out before sticking the bottle under and taking the lead sample, so you're going to get an artificial, fake number. I found people that had their homes tested, then you go online to look up their address, look up the results, it says never tested. I had people that had their homes tested, it says never tested, house abandoned. I went to the house, it wasn't abandoned. I mean, there's a lot of fuckery going on here, folks. So, woo, it's getting hot. Um, huh? Oh, let's go inside. So, but it's really something because like we're driving here in Flint, and I'm just thinking in my mind like, oh, another day in Flint. All the roads are half empty, nothing really going on. Downtown's kind of empty. Everyone's here. Everyone's online here. So let's see what's going on inside. Hello. Oh, we were just doing some interviews outside. I wanted to know like what else goes on inside here, other than water distribution. Okay.
They are the core of everything that's happening out there. If it wasn't for them out there, we wouldn't have this in here. And it's these. So, if I would do anything, I would film all those guys and interview because they're the ones that really are out there breaking their back and they're sweating every single Thursday. So, I sit at a desk and
So like obviously this is the water distribution, but there's
water and food.
water and food.
Water and food. Yep.
So inside here is pre-K and other kind of complementary programs. Okay.
For the kids and people, there's a lot of different things here.
Clothing, food. So it's kind of multi disciplines. Gotcha. All right. Cool. So you got clothing in the back, and I guess educational programs, preschool. But these folks in here aren't that popular, I guess. Nobody. I like you though. They left. Hi, ma'am. How long you been waiting today?
Since 20 after 8.
20 after 8?
Yes.
Oh my lord.
This is my first time too. I've never did this before, but it's for real.
What do you mean by for real?
I mean, this is Flint life right now. And this is the norm now. It really is. And since I've never did it before, it makes it really real for me. Yeah. My husband usually gets the water, but he had a doctor's appointment this morning, so.
It's shocking to me because, the media reports it like this is kind of like over. The government kind of.
It's not over because before they stopped bringing the water, we had a big supply. And so this morning we're down to two cases. So I had to come and get some. So
What I find really, I mean, you don't really see lines like this unless there's a hurricane coming, people at a gas station. So how can the state be saying, oh, we're meeting regulations and everything's fine?
that's because of Rick Snyder. So there's really nothing much we can do about that. But we need to vote. We need to get out and vote next Tuesday. So
Yeah, the governor's primary, other races.
we need to make a change. Yeah.
And one more question for you. I've done a lot of door knocking, and it seems like a lot of people's homes were never tested, their lead levels. It seems like a lot of the homes that were tested the wrong way, from what I could see, and more than half the pipes haven't even been replaced. So how is it that they could say the whole city's water is back down to meeting regulations?
I really don't know, but I believe that even though the pipes will be replaced, if the water system is not redone, it doesn't make any difference. The whole water plant needs to be redone because the bad water got into the plant. So if the pipes are replaced, the good water is still coming through the bad plant. So.
Do you think if this was a nice city, let's say Manhattan, Boston, It would be done already?
Yeah, because for me, I can show you a picture of me, 2014. My hair was down here, healthy. Started falling out. I didn't have a choice but to cut it off. So, and now taking a shower or bathing, I don't do it as often as I used to because I itch all over. Still. And this is 2018.
Yeah, we just met a family that just moved into a home in May. Their 1-year-old little baby girl, white blisters all over the leg, all over the arm.
It's for real. It's really for real. And nobody's really listening. I thank God for the mayor that we have, that she's still trying to get things done for us. But the state and federal government is not listening. So
Take care. Have a good day. So are we supposed to be going to that other thing? Okay. So we're actually going to go. We got some other interviews lined up. I got good news and I got bad news. What do you want first? You want the bad news or the good news? I'll give you the bad news first. So YouTube's not going to tell you when I'm live. They're just not. It's not really an outlet that's friendly to real news and information, especially real news and information about poor and working people. So if I'm live, sometimes you're not even going to get a notification that I'm live. If I'm live, sometimes you'll get a notification like 20 minutes in. So that's the bad news. The good news is we do have a website that's almost ready. We're going to be going live there. We will be sending you notifications when we're live. Within reason, we're going to send you text messages if we have your information. So definitely, right now, the site is not ready, but you can enter your email. You can't enter your email. Definitely. Stick and monitor my YouTube channel today. Yeah. Go to my site. Go to my site for to enter your email because we want to be able to alert you when we're in Flint. Ty and I are going to Chicago next. We want you to know when we're going live, what we're up to. YouTube's not going to update you reliably, unfortunately. So today we're going to be going live at other places. We got a few interviews lined up, so stick with us, and I'll also tweet before I'm going live. So thanks for watching. We'll be live shortly again.